So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our conjunction video of the week. And this week we're going to be covering our conjunction of Venus and Sun in the 9th house. And what happens when Venus and Sun are sitting in the 9th house of your horoscope. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this particular placement, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and a link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm currently teaching planets through nakshatra, including ascendant through nakshatra. Okay, so let's get started in this windy, Swati atmosphere. So first of all, what is the 9th house? 9th house represents father, guru, long distance travel, foreign travels. It's a house of publishing. It's a house of learning higher knowledge, higher caliber knowledge. So 5th house represents regular basic knowledge you attend at a school. 9th house represents the true knowledge you gain through a guru, through a spiritualist. This is why it represents philosophy, spirituality. Okay? And at the same time, 9th house actually represents romance. 9th house represents romance. Why? Because 9th house is the bhavam of the 5th house. 5th house is romance, fun, education. This is what 9th house represents. Higher type of education, higher type of romance. It's kind of like devoted love that you have for the guru, for the god, or for your beloved. Kind of like that story of Radha and Krishna, like complete surrender of love to this other person. That's what the 9th house is. So here you're putting Venus and Sun together. What do they do? Well, Sun rules the original 5th house of romance. Venus is a significator of relationship, unionship. And Venus also represents our values, our creativity. Okay, it represents rituals, whether it's darker rituals, lighter rituals, it is rituals. So all these energies, and then you have these two enemies sitting together in the 9th house. So what are they going to cultivate, in this situation? So this particular conjunction, number one thing you will obviously notice is that a person will have to travel to meet their spouse, to meet their beloved. They're going to have to travel a long distance journey. And especially for a man, you will meet your spouse in a religious or spiritual environment, during a religious or spiritual ceremony, or in a university-like setting. So for example, usually a person can go to somebody's wedding, which is not just a fun event. It is a religious ceremony that takes place, or a spiritual ceremony. And you can meet that other person at somebody's wedding. You could be in a university-like setting and meet your spouse. But especially one thing we see is that the spouse and your father will get into fights and disputes. And the other thing we also see with this is that spouse may try to manipulate situations, especially if Venus is like really combust with Sun, or depending upon the condition of Venus through the sign, spouse can manipulate situations to attain wealth of the father, wealth of the family. But one thing we also see that an individual who has this conjunction receives their inheritance, receives higher blessings. And specifically, your spouse, through marriage, whether it's a man or woman, doesn't matter, because Venus is marriage, Venus is unionship. Through the spouse, your bhagya uday happens, especially if Venus is not combust. Bhagya uday meaning the rise of luck in life. You know why you see some people who got married and they were having an average, life. But right after marriage, suddenly you see on their social media them buying a new car, them moving into a new house, them going into nice vacations and cruises, and you're like, what happened? Did they get like a big huge dowry or something? But no, it's really that their bhagya uday occurred because they got married. And because Venus is a benefic planet, sitting in a most benefic house, in the 9th house, it raises the luck of the individual, because Venus is also represents originally luxuries. Wealth is really moon, but Venus represents luxury, feeling like, I'm in this beautiful place and I am able to just relax and, wine and dine myself. So that's kind of like in a way a luxury. But also one thing we see is that a person is very much interested in economics. A person wants to attain education in economics, education in international relations, even like wanting to go and be a diplomat. I saw that sliding. Whoa! Okay. Wind gods, please let me shoot my video and then you can carry on your divine work. Please. Okay, maybe not today. All right. And then the other thing we also see is that your spouse, especially in a man's case, spouse will be extremely strategic, very like a natural strategist. They can be 10 steps ahead of everybody, not just in a personal life, even in professional life. And there's this travel bug that comes in with a person after marriage. Like after marriage or after a relationship, a person wants to simply travel and experience different culture, different ethnic backgrounds. I guess my conjunction video will end here today because this is crazy wind. I don't even know if I can have this video on YouTube. This probably have a horrible audio on it, but we'll see. But anyway, guys, this was my analysis of this Venus and Sun conjunction. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you want to know where all your planetary placements are, all your astrological details, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.